PC Gamer has, entirely unwittingly and by complete accident, I am sure, committed an act of journalism. A heinous crime in mainstream gaming media circles, of course, but they have illuminated a bit of a discongruity in Ubisoft's claim that Assassin's Creed Shadows has been a big success. As PC Gamer writes, Assassin's Creed Shadows is a hit, and Steam played a significant role in that 27% of activations were on PC. Oh really now? 27% you say? That's a very interesting number because Ubisoft's claim is of course that they have over 2 million players. Now a lot of people have already noted the strange choice of verbiage there. Players, not units sold, but players. Indeed, even the article chooses to use activations rather than sales as well. Alright, what do we know about its sales on Steam? Well, it peaked at 64,000 concurrents, and that appears to be as high as the game is likely to go, which incidentally is significantly lower than Dragon Age Veilguard's peak, which has now been, by all, even the company itself, been accepted as an enormous flop. So, obviously, all of the players that own Assassin's Creed Shadows aren't going to be online at the same time, so let's double it. Hell, let's triple the number, so we arrive at about 200,000 players, right? Let's round it up a little bit. Okay, 200,000. And let's also, for the sake of charitability, assume that those are actual sales rather than bundled with various things, or simply given away, as when the game supposedly reached 1 million players, the official Ubisoft account actually gave away game keys on Twitter. That's what a hyper-successful video game does. It gives away copies, even as people are clamoring to buy them. But okay then, 200,000 people, making up 27%. Alright, so we're looking at less than 800,000 players then. So we haven't even hit 1 million, and we are at less than half of the claimed 2 million players. That is very interesting. Now, of course, we're now assuming a little bit here, obviously, but they did say 27% of total of activations, one must assume, was on PC. So we are kind of lumping in the consoles here. We're adding in Ubisoft owns storefront. 800,000. Now, we don't know exactly what Assassin's Creed Shadows cost, of course. We do know that it was intended as one of Ubisoft's Hail Marys, a game they were keeping as a trump card for hard times, and hard times most assuredly so have arrived. I have heard some suggestions from people within Ubisoft that the game needed to reach at least 1 million sales before it started earning money, which sounds about reasonable, specifically considering as well that Dragon Age the Veilguard, which had a roughly comparable development cycle, has also been a major flop even with a much higher peak concurrent on Steam. So, about 1 million copies sold sounds reasonable enough, and again we are being rather charitable with 800,000. It's also rather intriguing that despite the company being very celebratory in public with millions of copies sold, nobody I know within Ubisoft has mentioned anything about the company saying anything internally. And when I've asked, they simply say that no, leadership is being very hush-hush about this, although they claim everything is going well. There were also claims, before the game came out, that apparently they had 1 million pre-orders. Now, that does not seem to be the case anymore, looking at Assassin's Creed Shadows and 27% of activations. That seems unlikely. Alternatively, they were simply pre-orders that were then cancelled once actual gameplay came out, since Assassin's Creed Shadows' problems isn't merely that it is incredibly disrespectful to Japanese culture, or that it has Yasuke, also one of the most dangerous and devastating characters to a game's PR and brand, that is, in gaming history. Oh no, it is also that it's just not a very good game. The introductory sequence, for example, has very clearly been recut significantly from the intended experience, as to begin with, you get given control of Yasuke in a tutorial section where he absolutely slaughters everything in front of him. He is in full gear, butchering his way through a ninja village with absolutely zero effort whatsoever. You see him alongside Oda Nobunaga, who has elevated him to a standard greater than himself. As Yasuke, no shit, has better gear than Oda Nobunaga. Hell, his horse has better gear than Oda Nobunaga. And then we're tossed over to Naoe, who is fleeing that village and being given charge of a mysterious box. Then we have a series of strangely disjointed flashbacks. She learns to sword fight long after you've been fighting for like 2 hours. As if the game was cut up very, very, very subtly and disjointedly to minimize the immediate effect of Yasuke upon the story, because honestly, it actually does a fairly good job of selling Yasuke as him butchering his way through an entire village of Japanese people without so much as breaking a sweat. It certainly is a power fantasy, if nothing else. And then the assassination. So Naoe is supposed to be the assassin character here, right? The whole Assassin's Creed part of things, stalking this band of Western villains that you're supposed to kill to revenge your father. Except the assassinations are so haphazard that the first one I committed by genuine accident. I wasn't even trying to kill the guy, I simply was bouncing around the scenery and pressed F, upon which time a cutscene played and informed me that I'd killed one of the bosses. Okay. The second assassination was just as bad. A supposed sniper samurai ninja person with this incredibly ornate firearm sitting perched atop a tower, and I kind of expected to be some sort of a boss fight, maybe sneaking up on the tower while she's aiming down at me or something, but no, she never shoots at me a single time. She doesn't even spot me, I think, and I simply just press F on her as well, and she dies instantaneously. Yeah, it's not a very good game. The stealth is bare bones, to put it mildly. The combat is meh in the extreme, and there's no life to the world whatsoever. You can butcher guards with absolutely zero consequences. Even the civilians will look at you, kill a guard right in front of them, and then just return to their day-to-day lives. Even chasing down criminals, like you get a chase scene, like, oh my god, you gotta catch the guy. The guy will stop and wait for you if you happen to fall a bit too far behind. It's not a very good game, and I kind of suspect as well that a large portion of the reason why they're using activations and players is because there were a lot of refunds too. People who bought the game on Steam, then played it for a bit and went, wow, this is very bad. The parkour is bad. The stealth is bad. Yasuke is Yasuke. I'm not interested anymore, and cancelled it. I would not be at all surprised if this game was plagued by an enormous amount of refunds as well. And 2 million? Oh boy. I don't want to be too mean to Ubisoft here, because I'm still really looking forward to the new Anno, and I'm still kind of hoping that they'll give the Silent Hunter property to somebody who might actually use it. But I think this might be a very large fib. or at the very least, some heavy-duty massaging of the numbers, because Ubisoft right now is looking to be bought out, preferably. They want somebody to either buy them or to invest heavily in the company. And the only way they're going to achieve that and get a decent price out of it is if they've got a strong hand. And claiming that Assassin's Creed Shadow, despite all of the negative PR and controversy, is actually a top-selling video game with 2 million players? Well, that sounds exactly like what a company looking to be bought out might say. And if it comes out later that those numbers were a pinch optimistic, or perhaps included large quantities of, straight up given away copies and so on, well, shrug. They didn't technically lie, after all. But thank you to PC Gamer for this wonderful piece of accidental journalism. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Till then, have a good day.